Hi class, let's go ahead and begin the 4.1 lesson where we're just graphing linear functions. So today, that's all we're doing. We're just kind of graphing linear functions using tables, finding intercepts, then we graph them, and things like that. So step 1, it says we need to choose any x value from the domain and make a table. Well, what's nice is that they already made a table for us, so we don't have to worry about making a table. They already gave us our x value, so that's also nice of them too. So we can just jump right into step 2, which is substitute each x value into the equation to find the y value. Then we write the order pair. So here's what that means. My first value is -4, and that's for my x. So I'm just replacing x with -4. So -2 times -4 minus 3 equals y. And the whole goal is what is y? So then -2 times -4 makes 8, minus 3 equals y, so then 5 equals y. So 5. And in this space, we can write -2 times -4 minus 3. So they just want you to replace x with -4. Then we can write our order pair. So our x value that they gave us is -4. The y that we just solved is 5. So our order pair will be -4, 5. So if we put -2, we will have -2 times -2 minus 3. So then we would have 4 minus 3, which makes 1. So then -2, 1. And if we want to check, we can say -2 times -2 minus 3 equals y. So then 4 minus 3 equals y. So 1 equals y. So that is correct with our math. So -2 for 0, so we're replacing x with 0. So -2 times 0 minus 3. So that should just give us -3, so 0, -3. And then I can continue on. So I can just fill out the rest. So that would be -5. So 1, -5. And then -2 times 3 minus 3. So -6 minus 3 is 9, so 3 and -9. So there really is a pattern. When we deal with linear lines, there's usually a pattern. Here it's not as obvious. But anyways, let's jump into step 3. I'll show us an example where we do see a pattern, but the last step that we need to do is graph the order pairs onto the table and then connect them with a line. So then my order pair that I have is -4, 5. So I'm just going to plot it really quick. -2, positive 1, 0, -3. So that's down here. 1, -5, and then 3, 9. So that's over here. Sorry, -9. And as best as I can, I'm just going to draw this line. It's not going to be drawn to scale, but I did my very best. So that's what the graph would look like. Anyways, let's go over to number 2. So we're basically doing the same thing. This one has a pattern, so I'll be happy to show it. But first I'm going to just plug in, I'm replacing x with the given value. So then that should be -2 plus 3, so that's a 1. So then my order pair is -8, 1. Then I have 1/4 times -4 plus 3, so that should make -1. -1 plus 3 is 2, so then -4 and 2. And then hopefully we start seeing a pattern, because this is probably a good place where we can stop and talk about the pattern. So the pattern here that we're seeing as we continue going +4 with the x value, we're seeing a pattern over here as well. So this would be a +1 pattern. And if I'm not sure, then that's okay. So I can safely assume that this will be 4 and this would be 5. But just to double check, I'm just going to put in my information. So 1/4 times 4 plus 3. So that's 1 plus 3. That does make 4. So then my order pair is 4, 4. And I'm assuming that the last part would be 5. So then 1/4 times 8 makes 2. 2 plus 3 makes 5. So that is true. So usually with linear equations, you are given a specific pattern, but it just has to work out. Just like how we have plus 4 here, we can see that there's a plus 1 here. On the y values, the plus 1. And then I graph, so -8. So I'm just going to do this really fast because I feel like we should be pretty comfortable with graphing. So 0, 3, 4, 4, and then 8, 5. So it should be a very not very steep slope. And that's generally what the graph would look like. Alright, well, what if you're given y equals 5? Where is the x? I don't see an x. So here's what we do. It doesn't really matter what our x value is. It's just that we know that all the y's that we have is going to be 5. So I'm just going to make fun. I can say that this is -4, -2, 0, and I don't know, 3 and 5. And no matter what, we will see that. So -4 and 5, -2, 5, 0, 5, 3, 5, and 5, 5. So no matter what, we're just going to see a straight horizontal line going through y equals 5. So we can see it doesn't even matter what x is. I can say that x is -1 trillion. The y value would still be 5 because I don't have an x in this equation. So it doesn't matter what x is. Just know that your y would be 5. And same over here. Where's the y value? We don't see a y. But we do know that all the values for x is -2. And same thing. I can say that y is 100, y is -100. It honestly doesn't really matter at this point. So just for being able to graph, we'll just say that. So we can say that at -2, we have our 4, we have our 0, we have our -4, and then our -100, we'll just say it's up down there. Positive 100, it's somewhere over there. Just for the fun of it. So no matter what, we will be seeing a vertical line. It's an undefined slope. So even though you have just one variable, in this case it's x equals -2, then all your x's will be -2. It just doesn't really matter what your y is. And that's how you graph 4. Alright, and then we can do the check it problem, but quite honestly, I'm just gonna breeze through it. So that means when x, so 2 times -5 plus 5 makes -10 plus 5, so we should get -5. And then 2 times -3 plus 5, so -6 plus 5 equals 1, so minus 1, I mean, or -1, and then so on. So I'm not going to really spend too much of the time graphing it, but we can post the notes later if we like. But I'm not going to spend the time graphing it. But I do want us to move on to the x-intercept and y-intercept. So very important information to know is sometimes they will ask us what are the x-intercept. We just want to remember that x-intercept is when y equals 0. That makes sense. And then our y-intercept when x equals 0. That also makes sense. And here's why. So let's say you want to graph and you're just given something, a small table like this. How do we graph it? Well, let's start with when y equals 0. So when y equals 0, what is my x value? So then I have -x plus 2 times 0 equals 8. So then I just have -x equals 8, divide by -1 to both sides to get x equals -8. So then my x-intercept is -8, 0. And I can plot that point if I like. So now what about my y-intercept? So that's when x equals 0. So negative x plus 2y equals 8. And now this time my x equals 0. So then I have negative 0 plus 2y equals 8. So really I'm just left with 2y equals 8. Divide 2 to both sides, y equals 4. So that means my y-intercept is 0, 4. And I can graph that. And that's it. Then you connect the two lines across as best as you can. This is not drawn to scale. And that'll generally be what it looks like. So you're just replacing y with 0, and then you're finding out what the x value is. And then you're using the same equation, but now this time you're making x equals 0. So once you substitute x for 0, you're finding your y. That's how you find your y-intercept. So you could rearrange it where you get y by itself. So if you really wanted to, you can divide all of this by 4. I don't really think it's necessary. We just want to know when x equals 0 and when y equals 0. So when x equals 0, we have 4y equals negative 12 times 0 plus 36. So then 4y equals 36 divided by 4 to both sides, y equals 9. So when x equals 0, y is 9. And we can graph that point, which is right about here. And then when y equals 0, so then we are saying 4 times 0 equals negative 12x plus 36. So then really we have 0 equals negative 12x plus 36. So plus 12x to both sides. So 12x equals 36 divided by 12. Just so I can have x as a positive number, and that would be 3. So when y equals 0, x is 3. And then I can plot that point. So 3, 0. And then I can graph. And that's probably the best I can do for graphing. All right. So that for this particular question, I don't have to read it. So I'm assuming that on day 0, this person has 60 cups of food. And this is a function that we're given. So they want us to graph the amount. So I'm just going to make my little graph as pretty as I can make. All right. And then here's what I'm going to do. So y plus 5 halves x equals 60. And my question is, what would y equal, or sorry, what would x equal if my y is 0? And what would y equal when x equals 0? So let's do when y equals 0. So then I have 5 over half x equals 60. So then multiply by the reciprocal to get x by itself. So 2 over 5. So then that means these cross out to get 12. So x equals 24. Because 12 times 2 equals 24. So this is saying after 24 days, so at 24 days, there are 0 food left. And then I can plot this point. So actually I'm going to go by probably 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That looks pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is days. This is cups of food for the doggy. So then this is 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, and so on. So this is my x-intercept. So at day 24, there is 0 food left. Well, what if x equals 0? So then really I have y equals, not y equals, y plus 5 over 2 times 0 equals 60. So y equals 60. So that makes sense. When she bought the food for her dog, it came with 60 cups of food, in which case that would be equivalent to 15 pounds. So that means we'll go by tens here. 30, 40, 50, 60. So that would be where the y-intercept is. And then we can graph. It's probably the best graph I can draw. And that's it. It's asking us to just graph it. All right, last problem. This is my equation. So with x-intercept, that means y has to equal 0. With my y-intercept, x has to equal 0. So then I just plug in my numbers. So I have 0 equals negative 2 over 3x plus 4,362. And then plus 2/3 to the other side, or 2/3 x to the other side, just so I can keep my x positive. So then 2 over 3x equals 4,362. Multiply by the reciprocal. What I do with one side, I have to do the other. And then just for the sake of it, I'm just gonna use my calculator because I cannot do this in my head. So then x equals 4,362 divided by 2 makes 2,181. Times that by 3 gives us 6,543. So when y equals 0, x equals 6,543. So my ordered pair would be 6,543, 0. As for my y-intercept, that's when x equals 0. So y equals negative 2, 3 times 0 equal plus 4,362. So then y equals 4,362. So when x equals 0, then my y is 4,362. So my order pair would be 0, 4,362. So now here's my question. Or the question that we're given is, which one of these graphs, which one of the four fits the description of the x-axis, x-intercept and the y-intercept? So let me start with the y-intercept. So 0, so from the origin, I am moving up 4,362. So I'm looking for something that looks like 4,362. So it looks like definitely not that one. The other three looks pretty good so far. So we'll keep those three. But for my red, so starting from the origin at 0, 0, I'm moving to the right 6,543. So it looks like it's not going to be this one because it's falling short here. So it's going to be either B or C. But we're told that it is a function. And this is a linear graph. So that means there has to be a line between them, because that's what a function is in terms of linear. So that means the only one that fits that description would be C. C is the only one that fits the description best. All right, cool. You guys are masters at this, so you do this on your own now.